For the Bills since way back in 1973. There's a look at Highmark Stadium just outside of Buffalo, New York. Tonight we've got a great Sunday night matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the Buffalo Bills. Lurching closer toward the midway point of this NFL season, and we're underway on EA Sports. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Now the man from UTEP, this is Aaron Jones. And not a whole lot of room to operate there on the first down run. He gets maybe 3.
Yeah, I don't know if it's exactly a win-win, but if you're on offense, you'll take that kind of a run, all right? It was kind of stacked up, found a little bit of yardage, and frankly, they're pretty close to staying on schedule on offense. The playbook is still open for the coordinator.
3 yards on that last carry. Here's 2nd and 7. They'll go again to Jones. They find some open field here. And he'll be out of bounds, but able to get it up past the 45. Charles, they won last week despite him not running the ball well. They told us need to get him going. Runs like that help.
And they talked to us about leaning on him because, as you noted, last week they didn't have to. Still won the ball game. They leaned on other people to give them the yardage that they needed, but they really want him to be that guy, and that's what they're doing early in this game.
After the run by Jones, here's 1st and 10. Here's a give up the middle. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave him with a 2nd and 3.
A nice run here early on. It doesn't take a great play caller to realize you want to establish a guy of his caliber with runs like this early because they'll pay dividends as the game progresses.
So they'll come up after the gain of 7 on a 2nd and 3. Rodgers with a give. It's Aaron Jones. And he's got this down to the 35. 40 yards rushing for him already. A terrific opening drive on the ground, and it's a 1st down.
They did tell us they wanted to establish the ground game early, didn't they?
They did, and a small sample size that we've seen so far, but pretty good return.
Yeah, you got to like that. They've strung together a couple of 1st downs, established what they wanted, the running game. And guess what? They also got their lead guy running it pretty well, too.
Now a 1st down carry by Jones. Down to about the 32. Our game here, really a dream matchup for folks who like good quarterback play, and really who doesn't like good quarterback play. You got the 2-time reigning MVP against a guy who many think could be holding that trophy in the very near future. Rodgers and Allen have faced off one time before, and it was the Packers who shut out the Bills that day 22-0. That was just Allen's 3rd NFL start. On 2nd down, it's Jones. And he's going to get this down near the 20-yard line. Give him 10 there, good enough for a Packer 1st down. Well, one unit I know you want to watch is that offensive line. If they keep clearing holes like that, it could be a long night defensively.
No doubt about it, because when they are in sync, as we're seeing so far, when that continuity is there, and you can see that they're playing off of each other while controlling the defensive front linebackers, you're exactly right. It can be a very long night for the defense because someone's going to run for some big yardage.
Well, they've had success on the ground on this drive, and that makes the defense more likely to overcommit to stop the run as they did on that play. But keep in mind, it makes them susceptible to play-action passes as well.
Now they'll throw with Rodgers. And he can't find anywhere to go with it, and he goes down. Credit the sack to Von Miller.
We'll talk about a rhythm breaker right there. They've been moving the ball well. Drive it started beautifully. That one's going to hurt.
Rodgers now, after the sack, he'll lead the pack up on 3rd and long. Rodgers going to throw. Eluding the pressure right. is incomplete.
To see what he decides to do the next time he's in the position we just saw there. Outside of the pocket, takes a throw downfield, it turns up incomplete. I wonder if next time he might take off and run.
On is Josh Lambo for the field goal try. It'll be spotted on the right hash. A 52-yard attempt. And contact defensively. And that might make things 5 yards easier. So now the Packers turn things over to the special teams crew. They're on for the field goal try. The kick by Lambo is good. And the Packers are off to a 3-0 lead. So the opening drive does yield points. Maybe not the 7 they wanted, but they'll take the 3.
Accumulating first downs does not go up on the scoreboard, but it does go into the DNA of a team that's trying to establish itself to start a game. That has to feel pretty good for them. They'll take the 3.
Yeah, they had 3 first downs and 3 points. Allen and the Bills now with a 1st and 10 at their own 21. They start the drive with Cook. And he'll be brought down here at the 28. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3.
Well, this defense for the Packers, they were terrific a week ago in the win over Washington.
And I think our statistician, we ended up having to bring the blue tent and put it around him for a while because he was developing a hand injury from having to write down all the turnovers this team forced. 5, 6, 7, 8. Absolutely unbelievable. I hope he'll recover.
A good run got 7 on first. Here's 2nd and 3. They run it again with Cook. And that one blown up quickly as he's going to be stopped before he could even get started. That's going to go down as a loss of 5, and it brings up 3rd down.
This defense is a difficult one to prepare for, one of the best in the league. They'll come at you from all angles, and they did a nice job there stopping him for a loss.
Throwing is Allen on 3rd. That's caught by his tight end, Dawson Knox. And he is going to have the Bills' 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. Well, on 3rd down, he wanted to go to one of his most dependable targets, and that's who he found, his tight end there, to pick up the first, Charles.
And you use the proper word there, dependable, and sometimes spectacular, because tight ends nowadays, they can do it all.
Looking for Crowder, and it's intercepted. Adrian Amos with a pick. And the Packers are in great shape here as they take over at their 46-yard line. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. They start near midfield following the interception as they begin 1st and 10. So after the INT, it's Rodgers. And they take him down. The Bills get to him. Von Miller, now 2 sacks for him already here in this first quarter of play.
And that was just absolute perfect man coverage. Nowhere for them to go with the football. Led to a sack. And that's really difficult to do in today's NFL with all these gazelles running around that you're trying to cover in the secondary.
Now a dump off here complete. That'll go for a gain of 7. And that's going to lead to a 3rd and 11. Backed up here, tough spot, needing 11 yards to pick up the first. Throwing is Rodgers on 3rd down. Throw left side complete. That's Andrews. And he's able to get this to the 40-yard line before he's out of bounds. It's his first catch, and it'll be good for 15 and a first down.
We often hear the phrase sure-handed tight ends, and he certainly fits into that category. Plus, he's got a quarterback who knows to look his way when they need a big pickup. And on this play, he finds him for the first down.
Up the middle, Jones. Oh, he's got a little daylight. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. 23 yards on the pickup there and a first. 3-0 after 1 on EA Sports. They had to settle for 3 last drive, hoping this second go-around ends in 6. In good position, 1st and 10. Into the red zone, it's Rodgers. Rush coming, and he's taken down. Markel Lee coming in from that outside linebacker spot. He gets him down. It's a loss of 5. So, Charles, no turnovers yet for this offense, but those sacks now, they're starting to pile up.
And one thing usually leads to another because they've got to figure out how the offensive line and everyone else involved in protection can keep their quarterback upright and allow him a chance to throw the ball downfield.
Running right, Jones. And he'll keep it moving down to the 15-yard line. 82 yards rushing for him so far as his terrific season continues here.
This drive is turning into an extended one, and the guy carrying the ball, he's becoming more like a body blows guy. Every carry is putting some damage on the defense. So after a while, I'm not too sure how many guys are going to want to run up and tackle him.
On 3rd down, here's Jones. And yet again, nowhere to run. This time maybe we'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. Call it no gain there, and it leads to a 4th down. And Lambeau will put this one through, and they're able to double their lead in this first half. It's 6-0. So, Charles, they get to them with their first turnover of the game and then make it hurt a little bit extra with a field goal.
And anytime you give the ball up, what's the first thing a coach tells his defense? Don't let them score off of this. You've got to put out the fire. In fact, in 2021, that's what one NFL coach termed his defense. The firemen. Go out there, guys, and don't let them put some points on the board.
The Bills come to the line to start their next drive. And they had lost 2 in a row prior to getting the open week last weekend, so potentially a chance for them to get away for a bit, heal up, and come back strong.
That's what the hope is anyway, because you're going to find out now with your team, are you still focused on being the best you can be for the rest of the season with the things going the way they have earlier this year?
To throw, it's Allen. It's Knox, the tight end, making the catch. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. 16 yards there, and the Bills have a first down.
And that's a more than acceptable read right there because it's zone coverage, so timing is everything. This time he waits for his man to come open, puts it right on him, and they pick up a first down.
A run there with Cook on first down, but it won't net him much, maybe a yard. Second down coming up. The Bills at 1-5, really struggling here to start the year. They come in with fresh legs. They got the extra time off thanks to an early season open week.
And usually your hope is that your open week comes a little bit later in the year. But when you get a chance to get your fresh legs back, you have to take that time and run with it. And that's what they're trying to get done here.
Going deep for Diggs. Well, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Eric Stokes. And the Packers are going to take possession here at their own 33.
And those have been a problem for him all season, but never quite as much as they have in these last few minutes. Let's count it up now. A pair of picks on his team's last 2 drives and double-digit interceptions this season. I don't care if you're the best in the game or an undrafted rookie. You've got to take better care of the football or you're going to cost your team chances.
Jones with a nice gain there on first down as he takes us forward and call it a pickup of 6.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
The last run got 6, now 2nd and 4. Working from the gun, Rodgers. Here's Johnson with a reception. Touchdown, Packers! And boy, CD, it's one thing to watch a great run, but when it's a great run with broken contact, it's like a cherry on top. That was a nice play.
Yeah, and this is one of the best runs you'll see. A lot of times on these long touchdowns, you'll say he gets into the end zone untouched, but not here. He fought his way through contact, and it barely even registered, and he just continued down the field all the way to the end zone.
And you can see the distance traveled there after the initial contact on the next-gen stats. Flush to his right. That's caught at the 1.
I don't know about you, but I can't wait for a few years of 2-point tries and see what the data tells us, because a lot of teams want to throw the ball in this situation, this time unsuccessfully. I just wonder if maybe running the ball might be the way to go.
With it moved up from the 3 to the 2, you would think maybe a few more attempts at running.
I think stats over time may bear out that running the ball will at least be the equal of throwing it in that situation.
Buffalo offense ready to go for their next drive. And it's been a miserable start for them offensively, obviously. 2 drives, 2 interceptions.
And this is where you have to know your quarterback and know how you actually have to reach him. Do you do it with a little bit of humor? Maybe you break the ice a little bit, like, hey, didn't we practice in that colored jersey all week, not the one that you're throwing it to? Or maybe you have to be stern with it. But whatever it's going to take to get the message, it has to be done. He's putting the game in jeopardy.
First down, here's the run with Cook. It's a room to maneuver. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. It's a gain of 35.
Exactly what they needed right there, because they needed to use the ground game to take some pressure off, because the quarterback's been struggling a little bit.
So now then, the big play has them all the way inside the 30 now, 1st and 10. And Allen going to be intercepted for the 3rd time. There he goes, left side. 20. And into the end zone. It's a pick 6 and a Packer touchdown. Josh Lambo now for the point after. And that one makes this a 19-point game.
Makes the score Packers 19, Bills nothing.
So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick 6. And now the kick is away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. The Bills come to the line to start their next drive. They're sort of seeing themselves spiral out of control. Let's see if they can get things back on track.
And this is where the coach is walking that line of being calm and really being firm with his team. Had one tell me once, when we were having a tough patch,
This too shall pass. This too shall pass. And if finally we kept having a rough patch, he said, but you got to do something to make it pass. And that's what they have to do. They've got to get some control back, get themselves reasserted, and calm things down.
See if they can get calm and reassert themselves here.
And he's only hit on 2 of his first 6 passes. Time for a quick quarterback regroup here with a big 3rd down coming up.
Let's go.
Here's Allen to throw it. That's to Cook out of the backfield. And he is going to lose yardage here. They'll wind up losing a couple yards here on the play. And that's going to make it 4th down. It looked like the defense, they were ready for that one.
Really left him almost no room to work after catching the ball. He could throw every move in the book at him. They were there, and they tackle him for a loss.
Returnable for Watson. 44-yard punt, return of 9. And it'll be Packer football here. 1st down and 10. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And just inside of a minute left, Charles. They got a pretty long field ahead of them. I'm curious to see how they play this, but you would think definitely enough time to at least try to get 3 out of this.
Yeah, you want to move with a nice sense of pace. You want to up the tempo a little bit, but you have to do it with some poise as well. You don't want to go so fast that you hurry yourself into mistakes. There's enough time to put points on the board if they do it right.
And even though they have the lead, you know that they would love to extend this lead before heading to the locker room. Escaping the pressure right. And that's going to be incomplete.
Well, sometimes the defense just beats you. Great coverage from the secondary. All of them in the proper position. So instead of trying to throw into tight coverage, he found a way to throw it away and come back and try again the next down.
After the incompletion, here now, 3rd and 2. They'll try and run for it with Jones. And he is going to lose yardage here. That'll bring up 4th. They had the 8-yard gain on 1st down, but unable to do much from there. Now a timeout called for by the defense as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the 1st half. O'Donnell, he's on to punt as he gets this one away. To return is McKenzie. A very good punt, but a 16-yard return. And the Bills will take over the football with a 1st and 10. Buffalo offense ready to go for their next drive. And with a 3-score deficit staring them in the face, they might have to press the issue here and try to get points out of this drive. Going deep for Diggs. And for the 4th time tonight, it's an interception. Xavier Woods with a pick. And the return this time will go out to the 42-yard line. An unfortunate sequence there, trying to get points before intermission, but now the interception, and their opponents have a chance to possibly pad their lead.
Yeah, they had an opportunity there, and they weren't able to capitalize on it, and that's something that could come back and haunt them later. They're begging their defense now to keep them from scoring before the half ends.
And he's got it to about the 40. The Packers going to use one of their timeouts as they'll stop it with 17 seconds to go in this first half of action.
Certainly a nice job there by the defense rallying to the football and getting him on the ground, but I think the play gets made by the defensive front because if they can't get upfield, their job is to go ahead and get low, almost get into a ball sometimes, stack things up, and make it difficult for the runner to find a hole.
Flushed out right. And that'll be incomplete with 11 seconds remaining now. The turnover put them in great field position. They don't want to squander it with 3rd down coming up.
No, not at all. And you know what else you do? You make your defense mad.
Yeah.
They got you the football, gave you a great opportunity. You got to cash in and get some points.
To throw, it's Rodgers. And time finally runs out. He can't get rid of the football, and he's taken down. So we reach halftime in what's been a fairly one-sided game so far. As we'll head down to Orlando, that's where we find our man Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Final adjustments being made for the second half. So with that,
We get you back up to Orchard Park and rejoin Brandon and Charles.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. The Bills trail here, but they will get the football first as we are back underway on EA Sports. From his end zone, Isaiah McKenzie. And a nice job there on special teams to limit him to inside the 15 as he's dropped at the 14.
In this position, trying to get back into the game, teams are looking for a spark from their special teams. That's not what they got, though. They got a setback, and they have a long field to cover if they want to try and put points on the board.
The Bills come to the line to start their next drive. Starting the third quarter with Cook. Now a loose football. The ball comes out, and the Packers pick it up. And his guys are going to get the football at the 23-yard line. And they came out of the locker trailing. Not a good way to start this second half with their first drive.
Can't imagine that the discussion at halftime encompassed this at all. In fact, I'm sure they talked about, okay, kind of wipe the slate clean, start the second half, and let's go out and play the way we know that we can. That's not a great example of it.
They didn't envision that. 1st and 10, and kind of tipping their hand at running the ball. 3 tight ends are out there. Now after the fumble recovery, it's Rodgers. Blitz coming, and down he goes. He couldn't get rid of it. He takes a sack for a loss of 6 to bring up second down.
This is a little hard for me to compute because I'm watching sack after sack happen, but somehow they're still behind in the game. I would expect all of this defensive pressure to translate to them taking a lead, and thus far, it hasn't happened. Time's winding down. They don't want to waste this type of performance from these ace pass rushers.
And he stopped right at the 25 after a gain of 5.
I really like the vision he displayed on that play because he saw there wasn't a lane to completely break off a huge gain, so he found where there was the most space and got what he could. A nice, dirty run that's a positive play for the offense.
Here's Rodgers. Oh, bottled up. Fumble. It's out. It's loose. And that's not going to get it done. He'll come up well short of the first at about the 21.
Much like a running back going through the line, quarterbacks have to be aware of protecting the football as well. He left it exposed that time, wound up having it knocked free, but fortunately, had an alert teammate who was able to get it.
The kick by Lambeau is good, and that will extend their lead even further. So the fumble recovery had them set up in ideal field position, but they can muster only 3 points out of it.
Yeah, when you're able to force turnovers, especially when it results in field position like they had, you really want to make it hurt. Here, they take the field goal. That's definitely not what they were hoping for.
McKenzie now from his end zone. Now a hit and a loose football. And his guys are going to take over at the 21-yard line.
As that ball got away from him and he saw the opposing team recover it.
You felt his pain?
Oh, I felt his pain, and you know what was going through his head. Tuck it away. Take care of the ball. All the things he hears all week in practice, he didn't carry it over into the game.
So 1st and 10, and if they score on this drive, might have to start digging in our second half blowout material. An inside give to Jones. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
And that's what this defense is going to need to do more in the second half. Good pressure that time, forces some indecision in the backfield. He's going to wind up being taken down for a nice loss.
A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11.
Hey, 88, Plant.
Rodgers now to throw. And looking for Andrews, but this is intercepted. Picked up by Tremaine Edmonds, the linebacker. And the Bills will take over here at their own 12-yard line. That's still down quite a bit here, several scores. But, yeah, at least that's a start, Charles, getting the interception here. And look, we're still in the third quarter, so this thing not done yet.
You're right about that, Brandon. This defense, they haven't quit on this game. They stayed with it and got an interception and handed the ball back to their offense. And what you wonder about is a team that just threw that interception, they've got to be careful about developing a sense of complacency and thinking this game is over.
And he is going to lose yardage here. This defense not fooled one bit on that touch pass.
And this has become one of those kind of in vogue plays, you know, kind of like the shuffle pass was a few years ago. This one never got off the ground, but you understand why a lot of teams are running it. These wide receivers, a lot of them, they run like running backs with the ball in their hands.
And now here is another interception. And that one was relatively easy to see. I noticed that from up here.
Yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot, does it? Sometimes you get multiples. What I always love on these offsides is when each side points at the other. Hey, you did it. No, you did it. They deciphered that one correctly.
On 2nd and 9, Allen. And his throw is incomplete.
As a defensive back, you have some weapons at your disposal that we don't often talk about. And you can read the receiver's eyes, you can read his hands, and you know that the arrival of the ball is imminent, and that allows you to make a play on it and oftentimes knock it away.
So the shotgun snap to Allen. Over the middle, complete. That's McKenzie. And they're going to mark him down short, maybe by about a yard, if that. Running for it. Here's Cook. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. A big roll of the dice on 4th and 1, but it pays off. They convert.
Partner, do we have a medic here? Can I get a cold compress from my head right now? Watching these play calls, I know that they're in the red zone, but he's in his own red zone, not the opposite red zone to decide to go for it. How did this happen?
Hey, risky, but it paid off. I agree. You keep calling plays like that, you're going to need a lot of antacids on the sideline.
His impatience has to be bubbling over, trying to find a way to get his team to the end zone for the first time. He did find a way to break contain and get outside to buy his receivers a little extra time, but the connection couldn't be made on that throw.
We're in the third quarter in upstate New York with a 2nd and 10. Allen now looks to throw. Toward the sideline, and look at that catch. Dragging the toes, and that's going to be a first down. Well done. That goes for a gain of 31. So how about that for a chain mover? They're all the way down inside the 40 now for 1st and 10. And meanwhile, Allen's throw going to be caught by Davis. And he's got this down almost to the 20 before he's dropped. 15 more there, and they're on a roll. It's another first down.
It's taken a while for this offense to get going. A little creaky at the start, but they're oiled up now. A nice throw there, and they're really putting together a good drive.
Still in search of their first touchdown of the game, but they're on the move. 1st and 10. Allen's throw taken in by Diggs. And they'll get this down to the 10. Allen to throw once more. It's caught by Davis. And he is going to lose yardage here. It'll go as a loss on the play. Not what you need down here. It's going to be 2nd and goal. Boy, how good has this defense been seemingly all game long?
I really think right from the first snap, I think you're really onto something there. In this passing game, they just can't get off the ground. And that play,
touchdown! Isaiah McKenzie. His 2nd touchdown on the season. And the Bills are able to cut into that deficit. So that, Charles, their first score of the ballgame, obviously, coming here in the third quarter. Is that going to be enough to energize the troops?
It's a great question. We'll wait to see the answer, but it's finally something for them to build on. Now they know that they can actually score against that defense.
Allen will try to throw for it. So unable to throw it in for 2 from the 2. Let me ask you, as a former DB, what changes there around the goal line on a 2-point conversion as far as how you're defending it?
You just make sure you never back up and you never retreat. You establish yourself really on the line of scrimmage, put your heels on the goal line at worst. And if they're going to throw the ball, make them throw it over your head because they're going to run out of space because of the back of the end zone. Never let a guy catch one in front of you.
The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. This is sort of what you would call a put-away drive, isn't it? They score here, especially a touchdown. It's almost out of reach.
It certainly feels that way, and I think that they're going to call their plays accordingly because what you really want to do, even though you know the scoreboard is still up there and the game's going to go on, in fact, you can take the spirit away from another team. That their drive and will to come back and win can be taken with another score right here.
Still third quarter, but you just get that feel.
Yeah, they're teetering right there on the brink, aren't they?
Here's Jones again on second down. And he is going to lose yardage here. A yard in the wrong direction makes third down tougher. Third down and 9.
I know they've got to be careful not to go to the well too often, but it's a fine line, isn't it? Because sometimes if you get success, you want to just keep pounding away.
But no success there. They rallied quickly on the defensive end. An extra defensive back here for the Bills on third down. Now Rodgers. On the sideline, did he keep his feet in bounds? They say yes. Great job, both feet in, first down. That good for 19 yards as they pick up the conversion on third.
I'll tell you what, a lot of those mid-range throws have been available because sometimes teams get too concerned about the deep ball and they leave too much space in front of them, and these guys have been taking advantage so far.
1 quarter remains here on a Sunday night. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the... On 1st and 10, here's Rodgers. That's complete. It's Devin Duvernay. It's a big play there for Green Bay. 48 yards.
No let up in this passing game. They've been a well-oiled machine throughout. And I actually saw a few guys on the sidelines at the end of the third quarter doing the old hold up 4 fingers college sign, meaning the fourth quarter is ours. And they certainly weren't kidding.
Now a chance to make that big play really hurt. It's 1st and goal just outside the 5. Throwing now is Rodgers. Setting up the screen here, Aaron Jones. And it's a Packers touchdown. Aaron Jones, a 7-yard touchdown grab. And the Packers are closing in on a 6-2 start as they extend this fourth quarter advantage. Extra point tacked on by Lambeau. And that pushes the lead up to 23. And Lambeau now, after the touchdown, he'll kick this one away. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. Buffalo offense ready to go for their next drive. And they unfortunately are staring at a mini losing streak developing, trailing here in the fourth quarter. This would be their 3rd straight defeat. Finding room at midfield. Stephon Diggs. And all the way home for a Bills touchdown. Stephon Diggs. 75 yards. And the Bills are able to make some inroads here to that deficit. And we didn't even get a chance to settle in for that drive. A quick strike of 75 yards, and they find the end zone.
Don't you get the sense that film study was behind this one, that they saw something that they thought they could take advantage of? The key is calling it in the right situation. Knowing when it exists to go to it, they did exactly that. They've got to feel really good about what they did in advance of this game.
Just looking down at the sideline now, their defense is like, man, can you have strung that out just a few plays? Give us a break. Back out there.
Hey, man, give that water break and get on out there and play.
The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. Now, there are 2 scores on the plus side. Still time here in this fourth quarter, but maybe you start thinking about playing keep away?
Yeah, I think here's the situation. You're not thinking touchdowns anymore. You're just thinking first downs. To keep up with your theme there, playing keep away, first downs, they can't touch the ball.
A 3-yard loss to start the drive. They'll look to make that up and then some on 2nd and 13. Again, it's Jones. And only a couple there up to about the 23-yard line.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where it'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
Throwing is Rodgers. And he's got his tight end. That's Andrews. And he's going to have a Packers first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. And looking to put this game on ice in the fourth quarter, but still not afraid to throw it as they show there.
You want to play the game with confidence, and they have a guy who's in control right now. Their trigger guy, throwing it, they feel just as confident with him doing that as they would if they tried to run the ball and run the clock out.
Terrell Bernard is in on the tackle. I'm sure that's going to be the formula. Just keep the ball on the ground. Keep that clock moving.
And when you have the lead this late in the game, above all, stay in bounds. Yes, take care of the football. Yes, gain yardage, but stay in bounds and let that clock tick.
And he'll get it out to midfield. Looks like, yeah, they'll spot it right at midfield at the 50.
103 yards on the ground for him now as he has gotten better, really, as the night's going on.
Now a handoff. Running left is Jones. And for one of the first times all night, he is going to go nowhere as they bury him behind the line.
Ed Oliver through the line and hitting him for the loss.
Well, that was one of the few times they've been able to contain him thus far. He's over 100 yards for the game, but he lost a bit off his total on that carry.
Now on 2nd and 13. Rodgers. And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes.
Gregory Rousseau, his 2nd sack of the night.
Offensively, they're going to have to figure this out before next week. 7 sacks in one game.
Yeah, that's more than any quarterback should have to bear. And if this continues on, there will be another quarterback in the game because no one can stand up to this week after week.
Rodgers now, after the sack, he'll lead the pack up on 3rd and long. They'll try the right side with Jones. So instead of giving them another 3rd down, they'll decline it, brings up 4.
Now that's smart football right there. You don't even have to really spend a lot of time considering it. Just know that you're probably going to get the ball back. Good job declining that penalty.
First kick, 47. This one looks good as well. Yeah, he was looking for the check-up bounce, didn't get it. That scoots all the way into the end zone now for a touchback. Allen and the Bills now with a 1st and 10 at the 20. Throwing to start the drive. Allen. On the run, he'll let this go deep right side. And that's going to wind up incomplete. However, we do have a flag down. Let's check in with our referee.
He broke that line of scrimmage and then let it fly, and that's an automatic flag.
Yeah, and you know, you don't just lose the 5 yards there, but you lose it down as well. So he obviously needs to have better awareness about what he's going to do. Either tuck it and go, or throw it to a target and get that pass away.
So the illegal forward pass also costs him a down, and now it's 2nd and long. Working out of the shotgun. Here's Allen. The throw on target to his receiver, McKenzie. And past the 40 before he's out of bounds. 27 yards there, a 1st down. To the air, Allen. And this is intercepted, and that should do it. Rasul Douglas picks it.
And the Packers are going to take over a couple of yards shy of midfield.
The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And a few kneel downs should just about do it. Now, defensively, they do have all 3 timeouts, but very little reason to use him at this point. And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40. Give him 13 yards on the opening play of the drive and also give him a first down.
No doubt those are the types of carries they're looking for here, Charles. The lead in the fourth quarter. This is when coaches that have a reliable running game, they breathe a little easier on the sideline.
Yeah, they love the idea that they can take the air out of the football at this point of the game. That means they're really counting on that offensive line, counting on the runners, taking care of the football. Because you're going to tell your quarterback, hey, no time to be a hero. We're not going to throw it here. Just eat up that clock. And if you have the ball, they can't score.
Watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it.
The give is to Jones. It'll be a gain of 5, but still about 3 yards shy of the first down marker, and now it's third down. The recipe's pretty simple, I think, right? Just give your superstar the ball, continue to feed him.
Yeah, don't overthink this one, right? Make sure he's touching the football, but you're also counting on his intelligence in playing the game as well. If it's not there, don't force the run. Just make sure you hang on to the football and keep the clock ticking.
Now the toss to Jones, running right. And he is going to lose yardage here. A 3-yard loss. Fourth down now. Finally, defensively, they have a little clip to show positive for actually stopping him running the football.
It's been a really long night for them, hasn't it? So they got a little bit of a win there, but let's face it, the vision that he's had running the football has carried his feet to the open spaces and to big yardage all night long.
They'll run it with Jones. And this is going to come up well short as they stop him on fourth down. So it's all over. A Green Bay victory. And I tell you what, I can't remember a defensive performance as good as this one.